Are you training for a hike or a race that requires elevation gain more than what you have in your backyard, or you live in a place where it's flat? Then you're going to want to watch this video. Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the personal trainer and running coach at Kathletics. Here at Kathletics, we're all about meeting you where you are in your fitness so you can approach hybrid training in a sustainable way. If you are someone who is training for a hike, whether it's big or small, or a race that is not in your state, or maybe it is a travel destination, and you currently live in somewhere that's flat, or maybe you just don't have access readily available to trails, so you're primarily training on either flat ground, road, treadmill, track, or something that just doesn't have a lot of elevation change, there are ways that you can prepare for this without actually having access to mountains, access to the foothills, or access to specific trails. First things first, if you have the option to get outside, I highly recommend trying to mimic or imitate your race day conditions as much as possible. And this doesn't just go for trail, this goes for environment as well. Now, I understand if somebody is living in Florida and they are training for a race that's in Colorado, it's going to be very difficult to mimic that type of environment. The humidity is different, the temperatures are different, the weather in general is different, as well as the terrain. So first things first, you want to take a look at what that race day condition is going to look like, or if it's a hike, what are those conditions potentially going to be like? Generally from photos, videos, or trail reports, you can see what type of terrain that you are going to be hiking or running on. Then you're going to want to take a look at your training program and see how you can mimic that elevation gain or that terrain within your current program. So first things first, I would recommend strength training. Surprise, personal trainer is telling you to strength train. But strength training is going to give you the strength and the power that will help develop what you need on the ascents and the descents of either a hike or a run. So strength training, thinking about big compound movements, specifically for lower body in this aspect. So yes, we want to do upper body, but for today's purpose, we're going to talk about lower body. So thinking about squats, thinking about deadlifts, thinking about single leg versions of those. So also thinking about step ups, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, that type of movement where we are able to engage quads, glutes, hamstrings, and also address stability within the ankle. So things like single leg RDLs, for example. All of these types of exercises are something that we should be practicing not only for your sport, but also for life in general. Secondly, you can do things like the stair stepper or create your own step up. So for example, using a box and then performing step ups using a weighted pack is actually what I would recommend for that, because that's going to best mimic what you're going to be doing on the actual trail. So you could use a box for this. You could also just use the steps in your house, the steps in your apartment, whatever that looks like. There are generally steps even at parks, or you could use a park bench. So that is a little bit more accessible if you don't have access to a gym. That would be a great option. Number 3 is to get your fitness to be the best possible fitness you can have before that hike or that run that you have planned. So what that could look like is building your fitness for 6 to 12 months, building that aerobic base first before getting into your training cycle. So then when you have that 12 to 16 week training cycle, you are very prepared. You're showing up to that run or that hike as aerobically fit as you can be. Being as fit as possible in general is going to give you the best setup for when you show up, regardless of what the environmental conditions are. These 3 tips are going to allow you to approach your training and your run or your hike in a way that, regardless of your environment around you, the terrain that is available around you, you will be able to mimic and set yourself up for success for that run or that hike. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, be sure to like, subscribe, and then we'll see you in the next one.